My name is Ryan Scullen. I'm the owner of Scullen Insurance in North Royalton, Ohio. I'm an independent agent. As an independent agent, I have multiple companies, so I don't just have one carrier that I can compare your insurance with. By having multiple companies, we're going to be able to find the best fit for you and your situation. The biggest difference between a captive agent and independent agent is most captive agents just represent one company, where independent agent like myself represents multiple companies. Now I'm a little biased. I have been both. I've been a captive agent. Now I'm independent. To me, as an independent, it just allows me to better take care of my customers. When I was a captive, I had one company. So if a customer would call complaining about their rates or they had a concern with the company, I had no other options. I can only quote them with the same company they're already with. Now that I have multiple companies, that same situation happens, I can requote them with multiple companies and find a better option for them. I think there's a lot of value in having a local agent, whether that be a captive agent or independent agent. The biggest thing is the relationship. For me personally, I get very annoyed and frustrated when I call any call center for anything, and I have to tell the same story to two or three times during one phone conversation. So having a local agent, they should know quite a bit about you, about your situation, and make recommendations based on that. And they're going to know the area you're living in. So if you're calling a call center in a different state, they're not going to be familiar with the specific things that are going on in your area. If someone did injured at your home, the first coverage it will kick in will be your guest medical payments coverage. Usually, the limits for those are pretty low on a home insurance policy, so you may have somewhere between $1,000 and $10,000 for medical payments, and that's designed to pay if somebody is hurt at your residence, regardless of fault. Pretty much no questions asked. The insurance company is going to pay them, 1,000 or 10,000, whatever your limits are, and hope that prevents that person from suing you. If they decide to sue you for more or their injuries are much more than that, then you have your personal liability protection. Most common for personal liability that we see is probably a limit of around 300,000 or maybe 500,000, which is a good amount of coverage. But if you're looking for more, you can definitely look at adding an umbrella policy, which would be $1 million in coverage on top of that and would cover you for both your home and auto insurance. The umbrella policies are relatively inexpensive. It's just for you and a spouse, maybe $200 to $300 per year. Obviously, if you have young drivers, that could affect that premium as well. That's a great question. This is the question that we get a lot. Customers are wondering why the replacement cost is so much higher than the purchase price or what they feel the value for their house is. The replacement cost and the value of your house are two totally different things, and the numbers can be, significantly apart. The replacement cost, what the company is looking at is they want to make sure that they are able to rebuild your home as a brand new house without depreciating your home. The actual cash value or the value of your home is looking more at like what the sale price would be. The value of your home can sometimes be based on other factors besides just what it would cost to rebuild your home. So, to give you an example, you could have the same home. I'm talking about the area I live in, the Cleveland area. The same home in Cleveland, the value might be different than the same home would be in a suburb near Cleveland, like Berea or Strongsville. However, the replacement cost for a home between Cleveland, Berea, and Strongsville is probably going to be relatively the same because the cost of building materials in that area is going to be pretty much the same. So again, with replacement costs, you're looking at what it would cost to actually rebuild your house. With the actual cash value, you're looking at maybe what the house would sell for. On the flip side of that, though, when you're looking at the replacement costs, they're not including the land. The insurance company expects the land is still going to be there. So yes, they are going to rebuild your house, but the land, for the most part, should still be there. Yeah, as far as uninsured motorist, there should be coverage on your policy for that. Unless you specifically told your agent to remove uninsured motorist and underinsured motorist coverage, there should be a limit on your policy for those coverages. It's very common for those limits to be the same as your liability limits. So if you have liability limits in the amount of $250,000 per person and $500,000 per accident, it's very likely that that could be the same limits for your uninsured motorist and underinsured motorist coverage, unless you ask your agent to reduce those coverages. So they should be there on your policy for you to protect you in that situation. Obviously, when you add a young driver to your policy, your premiums are going to increase. And that increase could be shocking if you're used to just paying for insurance by yourself or paying for insurance for yourself and your spouse. Adding a driver is going to significantly increase that premium, adding a young driver. The good news is there are some ways to lower that premium. Probably the most common one, the one most people are aware of, is the good student discount. If your student has a 3.0 grade point average or higher, or a B average, they're likely going to qualify for the good student discount. I sell for multiple companies. Every company that I sell for has that same criteria, 3.0 grade point average or higher. So if they do, definitely reach out to your agent and see if that discount is available for you. Another common discount is the student away at school discount. This is going to be for a college student. So if you have a student that's away at school and that school is 100 miles or more away from your home, there's a chance they may qualify for the discount. Now, the criteria here is they can't have a vehicle with them at school. Insurance companies, the reason why they give this discount, they assume that if your student does not have regular access to a car, they're going to be less likely to have an accident. So if they have no car at school, they'll probably qualify for it. A lesser known discount is the driver training discount. So in Ohio and probably most states, it's required for a driver under the age of 18 to go through driver's ed. Some, not all, some companies do offer a discount for driver's training. So if your student went through driver's training, reach out to your agent and see if that's a discount available to you. For the most part, I always recommend adding the rental car reimbursement for car insurance. A lot of times it costs $30, maybe $40 for the whole year. So you're talking maybe $3-4 a month. If that's the case for your policy and it's $30 for the year, I would definitely recommend adding it because you could be without your car for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, and to pay for a rental car for that longer period of time can be very expensive. So depending on your policy, if you're only paying $30 per year or $40 per year for rental car reimbursement, I would definitely recommend adding that to your policy. Now, I have seen situations where the cost for rental car reimbursement could be based on your driving record. So your overall insurance policy is going to be based on your driving record, but I've seen situations where the rental car coverage in particular has increased because the customer's driving record is poor. In that case, if you're paying maybe $200 a year for rental car reimbursement, you may want to reconsider. But if you're only paying $30-40, I would definitely recommend adding it. So a question I get a lot from my customers when they go to rent a car is, should I add the insurance that the rental car company is offering me? It's a tough question, and it's a lot of times going to be a case-by-case situation. So your car insurance will cover that rental car exactly the same way as it would cover your car. So if you have full coverage with $500 deductibles for collision and comprehensive, that coverage will extend to the rental car. One thing to think about though is, do you really want to pay a $500 deductible to fix somebody else's car? So that may be one reason to pick up the rental car insurance. Another one is rental car companies can charge you what's called loss of use. So if you damage their car where they can't rent that car out for, let's say, a week or 2 weeks, they can and probably will charge you the fair rental value for that car. Most insurance policies will not cover the loss of use. So for that reason, you may want to consider adding the rental car coverage. Now, on the other side, the rental car insurance can be very expensive. Is it worth paying $30 a day just to cover that loss of use, or maybe to not have to pay your own deductible? That's a question you have to answer yourself, but those are some of the things you can consider when deciding whether or not to add the rental car coverage for insurance.